I'm Bambi Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Jack Dorsey. He's the CEO and co-founder of Twitter. And Jack, this is his second startup. The first one was a dispatch company, I guess, based in New York City, where you've been living for some time.
It was actually based here.
Based here.
I left New York City to come here and start this with a friend.
All right, so you have some lessons there, and certainly Twitter's been around for some time, so I'm sure you have some lessons about Twitter. So for the entrepreneurs watching, give us 3 pieces of advice that you'd like to share with them.
The biggest one is kind of cliched, but just do it. A lot of time is spent thinking about something.
Oh yeah.
And talking about it.
Yeah.
But when you actually get something down, either on paper or in code, or in front of someone, that's when things start happening. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes. The important thing is that you make decisions and you keep moving forward. But you have to get it out there. You have to start, and you have to be brave enough to take the criticism. I always go back to the punk movement of the 70s. People would get out, they'd be on the street,
because you were a teenager back then.
Yeah, and well, and they would be learning in front of people. Like they get out on the street and it's the first time with a guitar.
Yeah.
And they're learning how to play, and they're getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to just get it down, do it.
Just do it.
Edit.
And iterate on top of that. I always tell people I don't want to hear any. Just do it. They'll come up and say, I want to do this, and that, and be like, fine, just do it.
It's also important to recognize when a rewrite is necessary. And rewrites are great edits. Sometimes the idea just will not go any farther, and you need to start over.
Yeah, I talked to Scott Bannister from when he said that PayPal was one of the first investors, and they iterated on their model after having 40 people. Like totally trashed their business model, went in a different direction. You have to do that even when you have that many people. So just do it. That's one. Yeah. So anything else from a couple more? Something from your dispatch days? Something from?
In terms of just do it, or
just
lesson?
Lessons learned. Yeah, some of the lessons you've learned.
The other one I think is stay simple and be constrained. Constraint is a big thing for me, and this is something that we're constantly learning at Twitter as well. It's important to say no, and it's important to be able to easily say no. And there's many things you can do, and especially when you have a successful venture behind you, or you're running with it. It's really important to recognize, where you need to go, where you'd like to go, and really constrain the process and keep things really simple. In my dispatch days, we, back in 1999, early 2000, we built something really cool. We loved it. And then we hired a CEO that didn't really match our personalities and didn't match our vision. And we grew the company very, very quickly. And that really scattered the focus of the company. So one of the things I've learned with Twitter is that that singular focus, that do one thing and do very well, that works out.
Yeah, yours is pretty simple. It's pretty much one thing. Right. What are some of the self-imposed constraints at Twitter?
This is something that we need to get a lot better at. But it's just really getting more constrained budgets, really being mindful of what we spend, where we devote our energy, where we devote our focus, what projects we work on. And a lot of that, if you consider a capitalist market, the market decides. It's really that the users help decide where we go. We are the curators of the technology, and we think we're pretty good at it. But, and this leads into my third lesson, is you need to listen. You need to be still and really listen to what's going on around you, and let that inform and let that inspire your next steps.
Seems hard to be still and listen when you have 300 followers, or you're following 300 people, or whatever.
Hard. It's extremely hard, but it's really important that you're able to step back and listen to what's going on and what patterns emerge so that you can really consider those and move them.
A big failure or setback sounds like maybe the experience you had at your dispatch company with the CEO, maybe trying to find, not finding the right person, or how do you approach finding people, or, you're the CEO now, so maybe you learned about how to be a CEO.
Yeah, I definitely learned some lessons in that, but I think one of my jobs as a CEO is to really set the tone for the company, and set the overall philosophy and the strategy. And really it's about getting the right people together and then stepping out of the way and letting them do their jobs.
Who's your favorite CEO?
Who's
Entrepreneur
my favorite CEO?
that you would like to, who's your role model?
I always look up to Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
I know it's a common one, but I think that's for a reason. I think he's done some amazing things. He has a great pacing about him. There are a lot of horror stories. He is a very opinionated person, but he has a direction and he knows what he wants to do, and he does it. And he makes sure that when he's not so good in an area, he recognizes it and he fills that area. And that's really important for any CEO, I think, is to really recognize your weaknesses and bring amazing people in. And bring people in that are much smarter than you. And just create a creative work environment.
Okay. Well, it seems like you're doing a good job there at Twitter.
I'm trying.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Jack Dorsey, and that was his 3 pieces, more pieces of advice and lessons learned for the entrepreneurs. So, Jack Dorsey, CEO and co-founder of Twitter. I'm Bambi Francisco.